What's up, everybody? Dave Bartosiak here, and I've got another chart of the day. In this case, we're talking about AMD, ticker AMD, advanced micro devices, right? But everybody just calls them AMD. So here's a story of a stock that really should be competing with NVIDIA, and it is not. Just from the technical perspective, this isn't good. So you have, as always here, I like to draw my 200-day moving average in red and my 50-day moving average in blue. And you'll see, in 2023, yeah, it's a real nice constructive move. 50-day couldn't hold it, but the 200-day did. And buyers came in there and initially were rewarded pretty handsomely, I might add, as the stock went from $93 all the way up to $227.30. So that's a pretty nice run. And then what happened? Failure, I suppose. And these rallies get sold. You get these spikes up, and then there's just a ton of supply that comes in. And even as the stock came down and broke down under that 200-day, when it rallied again, even if it did break out from the 200-day, it couldn't find that escape velocity that I like to talk about, which is momentum continuing after a stock is above that 200-day moving average. So we didn't get it. Haven't gotten it. Ain't going to get it, right? Lots of selling pressure. And now things are even worse because rather than just bumping its head on the 200-day, now the stock can't break out from the 50-day. So this is like the worst case scenario for a stock. You are in a long-term downtrend and you are in an intermediate term downtrend. That's not good. Typically you like to use these moving averages like this, where, even if it's below the 50-day, it's still above that 200. So, at least the long-term ranges or long-term trend is intact and you're more comfortable buying those dips. This is just the polar opposite, where you see the weakness and the weakness continues. I want to zoom out here and give us a fib. So let's go these October 22. We're talking about October 22? Gosh, October 22 lows to those highs. And look at how these levels have come into play and they have also broken down. So the initial push lower took it all the way to the 50% fib. That held for a little bit. This resistance level came into play at the 23.6. That's pretty remarkable too, because remember, folks, when you draw this fib, so anything after this day forward, these lines were already there. So this isn't like we're going in and we're retrofitting something, right? We're telling the story of what's happened, and you can see how that's bounced off. So these levels have come into play a whole lot. And now you have sort of I'm not going to say it's the last bastion of hope, but it's pretty close. Where now the stock is broken down below that 61.8% retracement level. Next stop is 78.6. Just a long way down. That's a 92. So that would put it at these lows that we haven't seen since October of 2023. So a ton of pressure for AMD. Things aren't looking great. And in a world where even mighty NVIDIA has come under fire, how does AMD stand a chance? This is supposed to be the great competitor. They're supposed to be the ones who have the GPU. I've got a GPU too. It's not working. So ton of pressure here. If I'm a long-term investor, this is making me really, really nervous, specifically when we broke down through this. That's bad. And you have a gap down, which hopefully gets filled at least. But you're really in this area where you're just kind of hoping for support, and it hasn't shown up, and it just doesn't feel like it's going to. So it's a tough story for longer-term investors. Now, we have this in blockchain innovators, and I got to tell you, coming down off of this 121, we're up 600% on it. So I do like holding things long term, but I don't know. I don't know how much longer this is going to stick around. Like I said, the 92 level looks like sort of the last hope. So tough story on AMD, not the chart that you want to see if you're a long-term investor. All right, folks, if you're here on Zacks.com, be sure to follow the author. There's a button up here somewhere. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'll be back next week with another chart of the day. Hopefully it's going to be something spectacular. Something cool happens over the weekend I could talk about. So for everybody here at Zacks, I'm Dave Bartosiak. We'll see you next week.